Hi guys, this is Ricky, and I want to shoot this presentation for you. It's a PowerPoint presentation, and I just want to go through exactly what I've done over the last sort of 22 months or so to give you a really good idea on how I've grown my bootcamp business. Now, just to be clear, my personal training business, it consists of well, four elements to it actually. There's the sort of larger group bootcamp stuff. There's my semi-private stuff, which consists of sort of 3 or 4 people training together. There's one-to-one training, and then there's also my online information product download that I offer as well. So got most angles covered there, and by far and away the most profitable part of my business is the large group bootcamp business. And I just want to go through, because I've been getting quite a few questions recently about you know, how I've kind of gone about actually growing it to the size that it is now, and continue to keep on growing it. I mean, I've got no intentions of slowing down at the moment. The premises that I'm in, I've got the opportunity to take more space, which I intend to do over the next sort of 12 months or so, and continue to sort of get up to around that 300 member mark over the next year. So the strategies that I share with you are things that I am continuing to do on a daily basis in my own business, and I just want to sort of go through this in just a little bit more detail so you get a clearer picture on how I've gone about doing it, because I started this 22 months ago, quite literally just working out of the field with 6 women there, and there's just me, a few kettlebells and a few women, and then using the strategies that I share throughout my membership site, I've then sort of grown it to where it is now. So yeah, just talking to you then through this presentation. Why group training? A few reasons. All of my sessions are 45 minutes, and if I was doing one-to-one, then obviously I'm only able to serve one person. If I'm doing semi-private, then typically that's between 2 and 6, and if I'm doing group or bootcamp, then I'm able to serve 10 to 25. I mean, in some cases it's more than that, but it's not ideal. So I would certainly have at least 2 trainers for some of those sessions. But typically, certainly my busiest sessions are Monday 6:30 session, straight after the weekend. I think everyone feels guilty about indulging, and so that typically has about 25 people in it. So I'm able to, as I say, serve more people during one 45-minute session compared to if I was doing one-to-one. And that sort of then dovetails quite nicely into being able to earn more money, because if I'm doing a one-to-one session charging £45, semi-private, if there's between 2 and 6 people, then that's going to be £25 a session, anything between £50 and £150. But with a large group bootcamp, between 10 and 25 people at approximately £10 per person, then per session, then you're going to be looking at anything between £100 and £250. So if you work it out on average, my Monday evening sessions, when you actually break it all down, that averages out at about £250 a session. So it's a very, very profitable way of using a 45-minute session. And plus it's less hassle as well. I mean, I'm sure you can relate to this if you've done one-to-one before, but I mean, when you're doing one-to-one, you can get messed around by people. I mean, you know, genuine reasons. Sometimes they're real, sometimes they just get held up in traffic, and it can be a nightmare then trying to, if you're a busy person, trying to then reschedule them in, unless you're very strict with them and you say if you miss a session, then that's it. You don't get it back. But most people don't. Most trainers don't work like that, and you'll try and fit them in at another time. But that then sort of has a knock-on effect with everything else that you're trying to do. So when you're doing large group bootcamp sessions, then you don't get any of that. So if someone's stuck in traffic, for example, and we do a 6:30 session, and they get there 45 minutes later, and that's not a problem. They'll just join in our 7:30 session, and so there's not a load of like rejigging around or anything. And even if they can't make that and they're genuinely ill, then they'll just come in the next day. And so as long as you've got plenty of options available to them with regards to the sessions that you offer, then you don't have any of this sort of messing around, and they then take ownership of it themselves. They can book themselves in, and missing sessions doesn't then become a problem. It's much easier to offer free trials, because if you're doing the session anyway, if you've got a 7:30 session going, for example, you can invite people in on that session. It's already running, and you could easily invite sort of 4 or 5 people to come along and try it out, and it's not as if it's costing you any more time. That's time that you've put aside anyway to run a session, and they're coming in to sort of have a go and get a feel for it. So it works quite well then with regards to your own time management, and being able to offer free trials. And that's exactly the same thing then with Groupon deals. Groupon deals, they become quite popular, and therefore quite competitive. You've got to kind of get in there, get on a waiting list if you want to sort of try and offer a deal. I'm in a position now where I have Groupon. I've got a lady who sort of keeps calling me at the moment. She wants us to do the deal with her. It's the other way around now. At first, when I first started out, I was desperately knocking on Groupon's door, trying to get in there and trying to get them to take me on. And I made out I was bigger than what I was, and so in the end I did get into Groupon, and that was a great way. It was a good platform of kind of just getting numbers into my bootcamp from day one. So that did work really well. But these days I know that it's quite competitive. There are a lot of trainers that are sort of trying to get on the Groupon deals, and so they're a little bit more selective because of the size that we are now. As I say, we have sort of Groupon sort of banging on our doors saying, please can we work with you, but that's only because we're a lot bigger now than when we started out. So definitely, if you've got sort of set time, set sessions, all that sort of thing, then and that's all kind of on the website, then that does make Groupon look at you more favourably, because you look sort of maybe bigger than what you are. Okay, so moving on to from the benefits of offering group training, then what we have here is, and I keep mentioning this actually, the importance of actually selecting your niche. What is your niche? I mean, what exactly is it you stand for? What demographic are you trying to serve? You've got to be crystal clear on this. You've got to be so clear on exactly who it is, what sex, and what age group, what sort of things are they into. Because once you're very clear on all of that, your whole marketing strategy becomes so much easier. If you're not clear on exactly who you're trying to serve, then it just becomes, your marketing message just becomes like everyone else's, and it gets diluted, and you just become part of the crowd. This is such an important decision that you make for your business. I chose early on to go with women only, and that served me particularly well. I'm not saying that that's the only way to do it, but it served my business really well, because then if you look at my website, all the colours on the web, there's a lot of pink on the website, black and pink. The colours work really well. I've got lots of pictures of women on there. All of the marketing messages, the text that's in there, everything is geared around my very specific target market, which is women that want to look more toned and lose fat. And so there's a lot of things like the language that's used. It's talking about losing tummy fat, and all these sorts of things. And you can only do that once you're very clear about who it is that you're actually trying to help out. And it can work with any of these niches. So for example, if it's skinny guys that are looking to sort of try and bulk up a little bit, you really then you can tap into the pain and the the emotion that those sort of guys go through, especially if you've gone through that sort of thing yourself. So the struggles in actually sort of trying to add lean tissue for a skinny guy, a typical ectomorph who's perhaps eating more calories than your average person, trying to work out, getting physically stronger but still not seeing any gains in the mirror. And you can really then tap into the emotion that that market is going through, so that when they land on your site, or if they see your ad, then everything is crafted in a way that appeals to them. and then all of a sudden you are the standout person, the standout trainer that serves that specific marketplace. They're going to listen to you, they're going to follow you, and that's a lot easier than if you're trying to be this generalist that just sort of tries to appeal to everyone. And it's exactly the same. I mean, I put a couple of examples on here. You have middle-aged guys. I'll probably class myself as a middle-aged guy now, but you know, I know the struggles that a lot of my friends have is, and they're always moaning about their beer gut. You know, eating the same sort of foods, drinking the same sort of amounts that they always have, but these days they can't get away with it, and all of a sudden they've got this middle-aged spread. So again, you can sort of craft your marketing message around that so that it's appealing to those guys. Postnatal women, the struggles that they have, getting back to the you know, sort of their bodies back that they had before they were pregnant. Athletes is another one. You know, so you know, talking about high levels of performance and the difference in perhaps knocking times off, sort of specific race times and things like that, and the importance of nutrition and sort of different strategies that can be used. And if you've got experience of working with athletes and you're an athlete yourself, then that might be your market. Muscle building specifically, you know, just adding lean tissue in a short space of time, that might be your market. And so you can see that what most trainers do is they try and appeal to all of these people and end up actually attracting none of them. So you've got to just literally go through this process of thinking to yourself, you know, who do I get on with? Perhaps who have I had? What have I had a personal experience with this type of market already? Have I got a backstory that I can then use to relate to them? And who do I enjoy training the most? And then once you're very, very clear on all of that, be brave enough to then get all of your marketing efforts, your website, your Facebook page, everything appealing to them. And you've then got to be brave enough to actually start turning away other people that perhaps want to come to you but don't fit that demographic. Trust me on this, it's it might feel like a very uncomfortable thing to do, but if you do it, then you will end up attracting so much more in the long run, and your whole marketing becomes so much easier. People will want to come to you rather than you have to go to them. Such an important part of how you set your business up is getting this niche right. And the risk of not doing this is that, as I say, you will be seen as a generalist. No one wants to be a generalist. GP is a generalist and a surgeon is a specialist. So if you've got a problem with your heart, are you going to go and see a heart surgeon, or are you going to go and see your GP? You might see your GP initially, but then they're going to refer you to the specialist. Specialists are the ones that earn the most money. Specialists are the ones that you want to see. So, as I say, you've got to make sure you get this niche absolutely right. You don't want to be like most of the PTs that, as I say, they just appeal. They try to appeal to everyone. They're too scared to turn people away. Okay. I suppose one of the challenges then for those that are already serving the whole marketplace is that you know, how do I change? How do I let down my current clients and all that sort of thing? And it can be a gradual thing. You know, don't feel that if you overnight you've just got to say, right, sorry, if you do mixed sex at the moment, you're going to bin off all your blokes and you're just going to work with the women, or vice versa. That's not what I'm suggesting. You can make it a gradual thing, but you can just start now. It's just all of your new marketing efforts can be centered towards trying to appeal to that particular demographic that you've chosen. And then with regards to your existing clients, if there are people there that don't quite fit into it, then you can sort of just gradually do it. You can maybe serve a notice. You can almost form a breakaway group and say that you work with them for sort of 3 months while you're trying to phase in this new part of your business. And as long as you're very honest and candid and you explain the reasons why you're doing it, people understand. Honestly, they will understand. And as long as you're not just letting them down overnight, then you know, it won't be an issue. You probably think in your head it will be a bigger issue than what it actually is. And by sort of doing it, by phasing it in, you're giving yourself enough time to then get new clients on board while you're phasing the other ones out. Do it, do it, do it. Okay then. Then with regards to the whole marketing strategy around a bootcamp business, it's always got to start with a low barrier offer. Now, my personal favourite, the one that served me best, is Facebook ads. Referrals still work incredibly well, and they've stood the test of time. You've got to have kind of a referral strategy in there, and quite a good thing to do is that in your initial consultation you can actually sort of sow the seed and say, look, if you're really happy with everything and you do really well, as I expect you to in the first 3 weeks, then what I'll be doing then is asking you if you know any friends. So you don't actually say to them straight away, have you got any friends, before they even start your program, but you can say to them, just as they are signing up and they're starting your program, that after the first 3 weeks, when you see great results, then I am going to ask you if you know any friends or family that might also be like yourself and will welcome this type of fast result. And because you've kind of just sown a seed there, everyone always says, yeah, I've never ever had anyone say no. So you just sow the seed there, and then 3 weeks later you make sure you do it, and you then say to them, well done, you've achieved this great result, you've lost half a stone in 3 weeks, you're looking so much better, your fitness has really come on. You know what I said 3 weeks ago, that when we get to this stage I'll ask if you know any friends or family. Do you? And you can make it easy for them. You can say, look, I'm just in the process of offering another free week to friends and family of existing members. Do you think any of them would want to come along with you and train with you, and also benefit from this sort of transformation? So it's a good way of just doing it. You're softening the blow. You just sow the seed early on with regards to referrals. Leaflets work well, competitions work well. I'm not going to sort of talk about that right now. But as I say, the Facebook ads, ultimately what you're trying to do with all of these is offer something that is very, very low risk for them. You want to make it as easy as possible for them to come in and just try you out, and then it's down to you to do your stuff. You just impress the hell out of them. This form of marketing works really, really well. And I've put in there an ice cream man in Italy, and the reason I put it in there is I've just read something this morning. It's a marketing piece by Frank Kernan. Anyone that knows anything about marketing will be aware of who Frank Kernan is. He's an American internet marketer who's made absolutely millions and millions and millions of dollars, being very good at what he does, which is marketing. And he was talking about this story of him and his wife being in Italy a couple of years ago on the Amalfi Coast, and it was a boiling hot day, and they really, really fancied an ice cream. And so he went down to the ice cream parlour, and he got chatting with the owner of the parlour, and this guy had literally a $40,000 watch on, and he's kind of thinking, this tiny little hut of a ice cream parlour, and this guy's got a 40 grand watch on. So he kind of thought, okay, what's the crack here? Does he work for the mafia? So he decided to sort of pay a visit to this guy on a daily basis while he was there, to sort of try and find out a little bit more about it. And as it happens, he noticed something, and he noticed that this guy, what he got a few of his workers, whether they're family members or whatever, I don't know, but got them to go near the parlour as people were walking by, busy, hot, and he was offering free samples of ice cream, and just getting them to engage with those passing traffic and saying, look, it's a really hot day, you look like you could just do with some ice cream just to cool you down a little bit. And people would then take that, and they would then say, look, there's our ice cream parlour over there, if you want any more, then feel free to go and see the owner. And the owner would just be standing there just waving at them, and they'd wave back or whatever, but it kind of then, that just got them to buy into this guy. And it's that free sample, and then most of the time, because it was a hot day, they'd be like, okay, let's go and get an ice cream. They go in there, they get an ice cream, they get a drink, they get whatever, and all of a sudden that guy's got another sale. And by doing that, this owner of the ice cream parlour, he was doing $6 million a year just by using that strategy. It works, it's tried, it's tested, and that's what we're talking about here. Get people in front of you first, offer them something for free, do an amazing job, and then all of a sudden those initial objections that might have been there, they just disappear because they can see the value in what you're offering. Okay, so yeah, impress the hell out of them, and then you're kind of moving on to the consultation once you've done your stuff and you've offered amazing value. How do you impress? Well, with regards to our boot camps, what we do, and done this from day one, every single session is different. So we have a theme for the day, which for example might be core and cardio, and we'll plan a session then the night before or 2 days before or whatever, and then so it's the same session for that day for each time that day. But then the following day's core and cardio will be completely different to the previous days, and the following week's core and cardio will be completely different to the previous weeks. Every session is different. Obviously there's only a certain amount of core and cardio exercises that you can do, but we just make a point of making sure that there's a different format, whether it's circuit based, whether it's time based, whether it's everyone doing stuff together, whether they're doing stuff in small groups. The theme will be core and cardio, but that's it. But we make sure every session is different, and that's been such an important part, and that's why we have so many members actually stick with us for so long, because of the variety. It doesn't get boring. You know, they know that they're going to come in for a core and cardio day, but they never know until they get in and look at the whiteboard what exercises, what format they're going to be doing, and that is what keeps it interesting for them. Cool equipment. So, you know, I mean, I suppose we have you know, tons of kettlebells. They're normal, again, free weights, kettlebells, barbells, dumbbells, all that sort of thing. But we have, you know, other stuff as well. Certainly in our indoor place, you know, we use prowlers, we use sledges, stuff that, certainly with it being women only, most women haven't tried before unless they've done something like CrossFit. But that's been like really good, because you know, we've got pull-up bars, we've got TRX straps, and we integrate all of that within the sessions that we do. Lots of punch bags, do a lot of boxing, freestanding punch bags, wall-mounted punch bags. Women simply love boxing. So we just have loads of cool equipment, stuff that they can't necessarily get at if they were to a gym to do a class at a gym, then they wouldn't be able to get that. You know, we're trying to position ourselves very different to other stuff that's around, so that it makes it very difficult for people then to compare us to other things that we might go and do, like Les Mills class. Make sure the colours represent your marketplace. That's right down to what you wear, to, you know, if you've got your own unit, then the colours, the paint and everything like that. And right down to our prowler, for example, we have a bright pink prowler just to make it look a little bit less intimidating. So you know, we just make sure our equipment just suits our marketplace, which is women only. Introduce and involve any new members that come in for the free trial. That's just a given. And make sure before they leave that you've got them booked in for their next session. You know, this is basic stuff really. Structure of our week. Again, this just works really well for us. I'm not saying that this is the absolute right way of doing it. This just works really well for us and continues to do so. We've got absolutely no reason to change it. So we have core and cardio at the beginning of the week, so Mondays and Tuesdays. We then do lower body exercises in the middle of the week, which is Wednesday, Thursday. Upper body we do on a Friday, and then whole body we do on a Saturday. It's just the way that we do it, that, as I say, we've had from day one, and it just works really well. There's a couple of other things I've kind of thrown in there since. We now do a running session on a Monday night as well. Also have a lady coming in doing an insanity session, because that seems to be the buzz right now. So we have a lady coming in and do that on a Wednesday evening. Just to, again, just offer a little bit more variety, but this is the backbone really of what we offer. And we make sure there are plenty of options. So this is 2 examples here. So Mondays consists of 6 AM. We have a 6 AM and 7 AM. They run every single day during the week. Again, we've deliberately gone for 6 AM because there are a lot of gyms around us that opened at 6:30. Obviously you have your 24-hour places as well, but they don't do classes until sort of 6:30, 7 o'clock. And so we deliberately went for offering these sessions at 6 o'clock in the morning, which, believe it or not, is one of our busiest sessions. Typically we'll have sort of 15-20 people in on a Monday morning at 6 o'clock, and I think the main reason for that is that it's for busy women. It doesn't impact their day. You know, people that commute in London or whatever, they can come in, get it done in 45 minutes, home, showered. Even those that have got kids and that, they can get the kids up then. It does not impact their day. It just means they've got to get up a little bit earlier. So that's a really popular session, which is one of the reasons we run it every day. And again, there's nothing then for us to be compared to. Nowhere else offers group training at that hour of the day. So that might be something to bear in mind. 7 o'clock is a quieter session, but we still offer it every day. 9:30, so this one just picks up the mums that drop kids off at school. 1:30 is similar sort of market, sometimes older women we have in at 1:30 as well. And then we get the evening stuff. 6:30 is always busy, probably our busiest session, and then we have 7:30 as well. So that's what a Monday looks like. Tuesday, at the moment, we have it slightly quieter. We have 6, 7, 5:30, 6:30. Probably going to look at changing that soon. Probably because as I said earlier, I'm looking to sort of try and grow this now to 300 over the next sort of 12 months, and so going to be looking at offering 5:30, 6:30, 7:30 every day during the week. At the moment, we only do 5:30 3 days a week. We only do 7:30 2 days a week. So, going to look at offering that every day. So yeah, that's it's just like, going back to what I was saying earlier. It's about offering plenty of options. You're trying to give as many reasons, or trying to overcome as many objections early on as possible. So if someone kind of looks at our timetable, they can see that we've got the early mornings covered, we've got the evenings covered. Even if they get home late, we've got 7:30s. Even if they finish work at 5, we've got 5:30s. Even if they, they're busy people that work away, we've got the 6 o'clock in the mornings. We've got all bases covered. If they miss one day, they can come the next. Loads of options, but that hasn't happened overnight. At first, you might want to just kind of offer, 3 days a week or something, and just sort of build up to it as your client base increases. That's just what we do. Okay, then we've got the consultation. I'm just going to touch on the consultation now. Now, step one with this is this is an important part actually. You've got to get this absolutely right. This really helps with conversion rates. And so step one with the consultation is just being very clear. You've got to get this information from them. You've got to know exactly why they're looking to join you, what they've tried in the past, what hasn't worked, why they actually want to look at losing weight. And forget the answers that are anything like, I just want to lose a bit of weight because I want to feel better. Okay, you ask the question, why? Why do you want to feel better? Well, because of this, because of this. Oh, I want my partner to appreciate me more. Okay, why is that? Oh, because of this. And really get them to open up on why they are looking to do this with you, and get them to make a note, and you make a note as well, so that you can then use that as sort of positive, encouraging language to get them, keep them motivated in the future. But they have to be very clear. They've got to have at least sort of 4 or 5 very powerful reasons as to why they're looking at doing it, and you've got to be saying to them as well that unless you're anything, you're 10 or above for commitment, then you advise that they go away and come back when they're totally and utterly committed. You get that commitment from them early on, then again you're mitigating any chance of an objection later on. So if they're telling you right now, they're giving you 4 or 5 powerful, strong personal reasons why they want to do this, so they're very clear, they've told you that they are totally and utterly committed, 10 out of 10, when you get to your prices at the end, then it's less of an issue, because you can refer back to them and say, well, Nate, you said this, you said this, you said this, you said that this is the most important thing for you to do right now, these are the reasons, your 10 out of 10 commitment. But it very rarely happens. Most people just kind of go for it because they've mitigated price being an issue along the way with this consultation. Then get body fat assessment done, nutrition assessment. Really, it depends on the consultation here. I think it's quite powerful just to kind of get a guide. Do it nice and quickly. You don't have to take ages doing it. You don't have to use calipers. Just a guide. Just use like an Omron body fat monitor. The electronic ones, it costs about 35 quid off Amazon. Use one of them. That should be suffice just to give you a guide. And then what you can do is, so this is the designing of the program, but educate them a little bit here with regards to what you're trying to do, improve their metabolism. And so just sort of educate them on their burning calories at rest, the more lean tissue that you've got, and then refer them to this table. And so once you've kind of got this guide, this body fat percentage rate, you then look at the age that they are, and you kind of say, well, this is where you are at the moment, and this is where I advise that you try and get to. Realistically, that's a 6-month journey. Again, you're sowing the seed early on that this could take about 6 months. This is not you come on board and do this for 4 weeks and then we're trying to re-sign you. This is at least a 6-month program. Okay, you're doing it in a very non-salesy way. You're just sowing that seed so that when you come back to it later on, there's a much higher chance you're going to get them to commit to a longer package. You then talk to them about the implementation of the program. First 3 weeks are about creating new healthy habits. You've got a nutritional guidance plan, all that sort of thing, and then we're evaluating it as we go along. So we've got that accountability structure in place. How long does a program last? They'll be thinking that. Okay, so we've already sown the seed earlier on, and you then say to them, most will do 2 to 3 sessions a week, and it depends on the goals, but 3 to 6 months is pretty standard. Does it really work? Yes, we guarantee you results. We go through a load of testimonials then, before and afters, and then we've got the packages over here. And so this is the way that I do it. I have 3, 6 and 12 months, and then twice a week or unlimited. And so you can see that the longer that they do it for, the cheaper it is. So there's more incentive. Most of our clients do 6 or 12 months, and that's quite nice, because just knowing that I've got that money coming in for the next 6 to 12 months on a monthly basis, at least. Most people then, when they get to the end of that, I had a lady yesterday, just as an example, during the session I'm just kind of like having a chat with her, and she just said, my 6 months comes to an end this month, and I just want to keep it going. So it's brilliant. It's I will then just move her from £74 to £69 a month. I'll say that she receives our loyalty discount. She goes from the 6-month to 12-month package. She's then tied in for another 6 months, and she's paying less, but she's happy to just keep it going. She actually came to me. I didn't even have to get to her, even though we've got a system in place whereby we would contact her. She is coming to me, and so this is the power of it, because they just completely bought in. She's got great results, doesn't want to go anywhere else. But just having people tied in and locked in like this, rather than messing around with per session basis or 4-week plans and all this sort of thing, they just don't work particularly well, because you're constantly trying to resell what it is that you offer. And if someone, absolute worst case scenario, last ditch resort, if they say, I'm not sure, I'm going on holiday in 4 weeks time, I just want to try and do a month or something like that, then there we go. That's the ace in the sleeve. It's there only to be used as an absolute last resort, and it's like, there we go, we've got £89 or £74 for twice a week. Very, very rarely does that get shown to clients during the consultation. Normally I just end it there, because they go for the 3, 6 or 12 months. Okay, so back over here. Okay, then so that's the consultation. Once we've gone through that and we've signed them up, then it's a case of talking to them about the I have a first 18-day kickstart plan. So it's just 18 days, really 3 weeks, and it's just like a nutritional guidance plan. In fact, let me just show you exactly what I mean here. So this is just an example. Again, it's quite educational. 18-day guide. So it then just goes through a bit of education stuff about losing weight. Got those case studies in there again, so it's quite inspirational. Bit of background info. Why do we get fat? Don't need to go through all this, you'll know all this already. Not going to insult your intelligence. Obesity, trends, all that sort of thing. Talking about crappy carbs, insulin responses, all of that. Yeah, so stuff that you will know already. But just getting it all in there, backing it up with graphs, making it visually appealing, breaking it up, not too long paragraphs. Some of the worst foods for us, talking about that, high fructose, glucose syrup, and all of that sort of stuff. Why normal diets don't work. 6 steps to a fitter, slimmer body with long-lasting fat loss. So they've got the 6 steps here, talking about white crappy carbs. And then we've got about sticking to the healthy ingredients. Shopping list there. Meat, fish, eggs, all the proteins, healthy fats, all that sort of thing. Don't drink calories, drink 2 litres of water a day. Exercise for at least 45 minutes 3 times a week. Talk about the afterburn. Getting a bit of indulgence in there. Let them have their cheat meals. And the importance of breakfast. Making sure that they get into the habit. So many, it amazes me actually how many people skip breakfast. Making sure that's in there. And what else? So talking about then cortisol and the importance of sleep, rest, de-stressing, all that sort of thing. And then the right mindset. So this is really just talking to them about setting goals for the next month. We've got the accountability structure in place, so we get weight and body fat, we do that with them, and then just getting them, just encouraging them to sort of write down what the specific goals are, what is it they want to lose, when they want to lose it by, and the reasons below why that's so important. And that goes back to that initial part of the consultation. Smart goals. And there we go. What's next? Commit to the next 18 days, go shopping, stock up on all the healthy foods, get your exercise program booked up. So we use a booking system, online booking system through the website called Booking Bug, so they can just go online and take control of that. Then I'm not messing around trying to book people in. That's another benefit of the group training. Be disciplined and remind yourself daily of the goals that you have set. Good. So that's the initial kickstart, and then I also have a post 18-day guide as well. So when they get to the end of that, that's emailed to them, and that consists of like a maintenance thing with regards to healthy, good quality, complex carbs and everything. They can start phasing into their daily nutrition to make this long lasting. There's then also a 28-day meal planner, recipes for all of those meals. All of this stuff has taken me time to put together, and it's not as if like they got everything straight away, but it's worth just doing a little bit each day. And before you know it, if you just did like a recipe a day, a month later you're going to have your recipe guide then put together, and it's just added value. Again, it then just becomes less of an issue when sort of people talk about the price. When they look at what they're getting from you, this is a bit like what you'd get if you were seeing a one-to-one personal trainer. And this is one of the other things that makes our group training really stand out, is that we've tried to keep a lot of the benefits that you would get of seeing a one-to-one trainer. So the nutritional part of it, as you will know, is one of the most important parts of long-lasting fat loss. And so we do get their weight, we do get their body fat. We then encourage them to get their weight done each week, at maximum every 2 weeks, and body fat done every 3 to 4 weeks. So we're then recording that with them as we're going along, and we're noting down their progress, and then we're also shouting about those achievements on our Facebook page when people achieve great results and they achieve their goals. And so by having that accountability structure in place, it just increases the amount of our members that actually achieve great results, and most of them do, and that's one of the most important things. But you kind of got to have a system in place, a structure in place, so it doesn't become too overwhelming, and having that accountability there as well just helps people to stick to the program. And that's one way that we've sort of tried to maintain such a high standard of achieving great results, even though we serve so many people at once. So like talking about 25 people in a session, you're probably thinking that's just too many to kind of keep a track of. Well, we've got it all recorded, we've got it on our laptops, we're keeping people updated with their progress. So it's when it's done like that, it's not that overwhelming. Actually, it's quite a straightforward way of doing it, because not everyone's getting weighed and their body fat's done at the same time. They do it on different days depending on when they come in, how many times a week they do. And of course, delivering great sessions, that's just an ongoing thing that you are more than capable of doing. Don't need to talk to you about delivering great sessions and being a great trainer. I'm sure that is something that you can do already. Keeping things fresh though is really important, because it can get stale. That's why we make an effort to keep every session different. So even if it's just each month, I'll try and make a habit of just throwing in a different piece of equipment trying new things out, getting new things, experimenting with them, and they know then that it's sort of kept fresh. It keeps it interesting. Just trying to think what have I had recently. Yeah, the freestanding punch bags come in, so they've gone down pretty well. But I mean, yeah, tons of different things each month, just getting new equipment in and just freshening things up. That's why we introduced the insanity sessions. That's why we introduced Monday night running sessions. Again, it's just to sort of just keep things interesting, really. Now this is a really important part as well, because if you're just starting out like I did 22 months ago, just working in the field, you kind of get to a point whereby, let's say you start over the summer. Over the summer you grow your business, you've got numbers in there, and then it starts getting darker, and so you then start thinking, right, I need to now offer something indoors. What I did was, because all of a sudden then you go from not having to pay overheads to having to pay overheads, but it's a risk that's worth taking. I contacted boxing clubs. Boxing clubs don't tend to have anything going on during the mornings, unless they're big clubs, but certainly boxing clubs for kids, you know, they don't tend to have anything going on in the morning. So I contacted a boxing club, and sure enough got in there, and I was paying not a lot, like 300 or 400, 350 quid, something like that, 400 quid a month, to use the gym on a daily basis, and for my sessions. And that kind of then, because I took it indoors, because again it became more important because it was women only. And I know plenty of places that kind of keep this sort of thing going during the dark and everything during the winter, but I just didn't want to risk a huge drop off in my membership. So yeah, I made the decision to take it indoors. Took the hit on the income, but I managed to then grow my numbers much quicker as a result of doing that. On the back of that, I was in the boxing club for what was it, probably about 3 or 4 months, and at that point I was still doing evening sessions like outside, but then over the winter I had to get somewhere else for evening sessions. So I was basically doing morning and early afternoon sessions in the boxing club, and then a dance studio for evening sessions. And then it got to the point, I was doing that for about 2 or 3 months, and it just got to the point whereby I thought, right, it was going to take a massive risk, and it was one of those all or nothing risks. And I was searching around trying to find my own unit, and took a punt on a sort of just under 3,000 square foot unit that we still use now. And it was a massive risk. It was a massive gamble. Borrowed money on credit cards and everything. Not that I encourage you to do that, but borrowed money on credit cards just to kit it out. And it was nice because then we could put our own stamp on it and personalise it and paint it gills and colours and everything, make it like you know, fit our market. And that was the best decision that, you know, we've made, because that's the thing that's really kind of like taken the business to a whole new level, because we've been able to keep hold of our members a lot easier, and I think people are much more impressed when they come into our own unit, and it's like a much more professional outfit because we've got our own place. And so it's always a big decision. At the point, the unit was too big for the amount of members that we had. I think I only had about, at that point, probably only about 60 members, you know, on monthly memberships. And then chose to come here, and as I say, then since coming here, that's just over a year now, we've now taken it to 200. So it was a big gamble. It felt like a big gamble at the time, but it was the absolute right thing to do. And there's going to come a point in your own business when you grow it to a point, and you're going to be thinking to yourself, do I get my own place? Not a decision to be taken lightly. I've just told you what I went through, and there's going to be fear, there's going to be doubt, it's going to come into your mind. But trust me on this, if you do it, you will then make it work. You've got all the right marketing strategies then to start using to just basically scale up. And once you do that, then you've got a real solid business in your own premises. And there's nothing nice and sort of coming into your own unit, but it's a big decision that that will probably be coming up, and it's one that, as I say, it's served me particularly well, and my group training business But we do everything out there. You know, we do the one-to-one and semi-private stuff as well. We've got a separate room. It's just broken up the unit is, so you know, we've got the space to be able to do that. So I hope you enjoy that presentation. It sort of just gives you warts and all sort of story about how I have grown our business to where it is right now, and you know, the right systems are now all in place to sort of take it to 300 now over the next sort of 12 months or so. No doubt if there are any questions, then as always, just let me know. Okay, I'll speak to you soon. Thanks.